Welcome to Voice of Stories. Discover tales that inspire, captivate, and bring words to life. Subscribe for unforgettable stories.
Do you truly know the people closest to you? The ones you trust with your heart, your secrets, and your life? Elaine Monroe thought she did. She believed in love, loyalty, and family values, building her life around them. But sometimes trust can be the most dangerous thing of all. When Elaine's life ended at 67, she left behind more than just memories. What she left behind shook her family to its core and revealed a story no one could have predicted. A $1.7 million life insurance policy. Not to her daughter or husband, but to a name no one expected, along with a betrayal that ran deeper than anyone could have imagined. Elaine's silence concealed a devastating truth, one that wouldn't come to light until it was too late. Her life, her choices, and her ultimate act of justice would reveal a story that demanded to be told. In the end, only one question remains. Why? Welcome to True Crime Story HQ. A heartfelt thank you to our viewers, especially our subscribers, for your ongoing support. We're committed to bringing you daily updates on both told and untold true crime stories. Please remember to subscribe and stay with us as we uncover the truth. Elaine Monroe's life was a testament to resilience. Born into modest beginnings, she understood the value of hard work and perseverance. Life wasn't handed to her, but every step forward was earned through determination. Her journey was one of reinvention, a story of a woman who refused to let her circumstances define her. In her early years, Elaine married a man she believed would be her partner for life. Together they built a family and dreamed of a stable, loving future. But dreams don't always unfold as expected. After her husband's untimely death, Elaine became a young widow, raising her daughter Cassie, alone and unsure of what the future held. For years, Elaine worked tirelessly to provide for Cassie, rising through the ranks of the real estate industry. She earned respect and financial success, all while keeping her values, family, trust, and honesty at the core of everything she did. Elaine's love for her daughter was unwavering, and she poured everything into ensuring Cassie had opportunities Elaine never had growing up, from top-tier schools to luxurious vacations. But love is complex, and relationships often unfold in ways we don't expect. Cassie, spoiled by her mother's sacrifices, became emotionally distant. While Elaine tried to instill gratitude and discipline, Cassie interpreted her mother's efforts as controlling, creating a fragile bond between them. As the years passed, Elaine longed for companionship. Enter Marlon Jones, a man 13 years her junior. Marlon was charming, charismatic, and seemed to offer Elaine the sense of vitality and attention she had been missing. Their relationship raised some eyebrows. Elaine, a financially independent woman, was seen as the stabilizing force, while Marlon, with a questionable past, appeared to thrive on her success. Yet Elaine didn't care about public opinion. For the first time in years, someone was paying attention to her, and she allowed herself to believe Marlon's intentions were genuine. But there were moments when doubt crept in. Marlon's charm sometimes seemed too calculated, his words too rehearsed. Small things didn't add up, stories that didn't make sense, and moments when his gaze lingered too long on something or someone else. Elaine dismissed these feelings, chalking them up to her own insecurities. She wanted to believe in love again, even if a part of her remained guarded. Yet, it wasn't just her relationship with Marlon that was complicated. Elaine's strained bond with Cassie only seemed to worsen over time. Cassie, now an adult, craved attention and validation, but rarely reciprocated the love and effort her mother gave her. Elaine believed that with time their relationship could heal, but the cracks between them deepened, creating a storm of emotions that Elaine couldn't fully understand. In the background of this growing tension, something sinister began to unfold. The moments that seemed innocent at first, a lingering glance, shared laughter, an accidental touch, soon became something more. Marlon and Cassie's relationship, which had started as a mere distraction, evolved into a secret, hidden betrayal. For Cassie, the affair wasn't just about seeking attention. It was about filling a void she had felt for years, overshadowed by her mother's success and stifled by Elaine's overbearing love. Cassie found in Marlon the validation she had longed for. Their connection grew more intense, and what began as harmless attention turned into something darker. Elaine, ever the sharp observer, began to notice subtle changes. Marlon grew distant, distracted, and even evasive. Cassie, once emotionally distant, became more defiant. Elaine couldn't ignore the tension between them anymore. It wasn't just a momentary feeling, it was a growing truth that she couldn't escape. When Elaine discovered the affair, her heartbreak was profound. Not just because of Marlon's betrayal, but because of Cassie's. The two people she had trusted most had conspired, knowingly or unknowingly, to tear her world apart. But rather than confronting them, Elaine chose silence. She didn't scream, cry, or demand answers. She kept her pain locked away, choosing a quiet dignity over chaos. In a move no one expected, Elaine quietly changed her life insurance policy, altering the $1.7 million payout from Marlon to Althea Carter, her loyal maid and confidant of over 30 years. Althea had been more than just an employee. She was Elaine's safe harbor, the one person Elaine knew she could trust. Elaine's health began to decline slowly but steadily. The symptoms were baffling: fatigue, weight loss, persistent headaches, and despite numerous doctor visits, no one could pinpoint the cause. Althea, however, was the first to notice something wasn't right. She observed Marlon's actions growing increasingly rehearsed when Elaine's health was discussed and Cassie's curious indifference to her mother's suffering. Althea's suspicions were confirmed when Elaine's death was ruled to be from poisoning. A careful, prolonged act of poisoning. It was a shocking revelation. Elaine had been murdered by the very people she trusted most. Marlon and Cassie were implicated, and Althea's statement to the police became crucial in uncovering the truth. As Marlon, ever eager to claim the insurance money, moved quickly to claim the policy, the investigation revealed the sinister truth behind Elaine's mysterious illness and death. It was a calculated act of betrayal, and thanks to Althea's courage, justice was within reach. Elaine Monroe's final act, altering her will and ensuring Althea would be the beneficiary, wasn't just about money. It was about trust, love, and loyalty, and the unspoken message she left behind. Betrayal has consequences. And while Elaine never lived to see the full fallout, her final act ensured the truth would eventually come to light. In the end, only one question remains. How well do we truly know the ones we love? And how far will we go to protect ourselves from the ones who betray us? Elaine Monroe's sudden and mysterious decline in health sent shockwaves through her family and community. As investigators looked deeper into the circumstances of her illness, they began to turn their attention to those who had been closest to her in her final days: her daughter Cassie Monroe and her husband Marlon. While their outward demeanor gave little away, cracks in their stories began to appear under scrutiny. Cassie was the first to be called in for questioning. The police didn't approach her with accusations, but with a strategy designed to break through her defenses. They began with kindness, showing her old photos of Elaine, pictures of mother and daughter celebrating birthdays, sharing quiet, loving moments together. The emotional weight of these memories took a toll on Cassie. At first, she tried to maintain composure, insisting she had done nothing wrong. But as the detectives pressed her resolve began to weaken. "You loved your mother, didn't you?" one detective asked, his tone soft yet probing. "She gave you everything, so why?" Cassie's eyes filled with tears, and her voice trembled as she responded, "I didn't mean for it to go this far." Her words trailed off. The detectives seized the opening. With careful questioning designed to evoke guilt and emotional conflict, they continued. Overwhelmed, Cassie broke down and confessed. She admitted to poisoning her mother, slipping small doses of poison into Elaine's tea over the course of several months. But there was more. Cassie revealed that the plan had been carried out under Marlon's direction. "I did it because he told me to," Cassie said, her voice barely above a whisper. "He said we'd finally be free to be together, free to live the life we wanted with the money to make it happen." Cassie's chilling admission unveiled Marlon's manipulation. He had convinced her that her mother's death was necessary for their future. He preyed on her insecurities, promising love and a new life, while using her as a pawn in his deadly scheme. Armed with Cassie's confession, the police turned their attention to Marlon. When confronted, he denied everything. "She's making this up," he insisted. "I had nothing to do with it." But his protests were weak in the face of mounting evidence. The forensic team had been working tirelessly, and the toxicology report confirmed that a specific poison had been found in Elaine's system, one that could only be administered in precise, lethal doses over time. Investigators uncovered receipts for the toxic substance purchased under Cassie's name, but with Marlon's financial backing. Bank statements linked Marlon to the purchases, and further analysis revealed traces of poison in Elaine's tea set and kitchenware. Text messages between Marlon and Cassie revealed discussions that clearly outlined their plan. One incriminating message from Marlon read, "Stay patient, we'll have everything we want soon enough." With the evidence mounting, Marlon's claims of innocence began to unravel. The investigation was airtight. Cassie's emotional confession, the forensic evidence, and Marlon's suspicious financial transactions left no room for doubt. What began as a carefully orchestrated plot for money and freedom ended in betrayal, greed, and murder. As the case moved to trial, the community awaited the outcome with bated breath. It was no longer just a case of a tragic death. It was a story of betrayal, manipulation, and the pursuit of justice. The trial, a tale of manipulation and greed. The trial of Marlon Jones and Cassie Monroe became a spectacle. Family members, neighbors, and the media filled every seat, eager to witness the unraveling of a story that had shocked everyone. At the center of it all stood two figures, Marlon, whose face remained expressionless, and Cassie, whose eyes betrayed the weight of her guilt. The prosecution laid out its case methodically, beginning with a recount of Elaine Monroe's mysterious illness and ultimate death. Forensic experts testified about the poison found in Elaine's system, explaining how it had been carefully administered over months, leading to her slow and agonizing decline. Friends and neighbors took the stand, sharing stories of Elaine as a kind and generous woman. Their emotional testimonies painted a picture of a life cut short by the people she had trusted most. But it was Althea Carter, Elaine's loyal maid and confidant, who delivered the trial's most pivotal testimony. With quiet strength, Althea recounted her decades-long relationship with Elaine. She spoke of the gradual changes she had noticed in Elaine's health, and how she had become suspicious of Cassie and Marlon's behavior in the months leading up to Elaine's death. Althea described whispered conversations, times when she had seen Cassie preparing Elaine's tea, and growing concerns that something was terribly wrong. Her testimony was powerful, confirming the prosecution's case. Althea had witnessed the emotional toll the crime had taken on Elaine and her slow, painful death. The courtroom was silent, as Althea's words resonated deeply with everyone present. The prosecution also played Cassie's emotional confession in court, where she admitted to poisoning her mother under Marlon's direction. The weight of Cassie's remorse was clear, her voice trembling with guilt and fear as she spoke. Cassie's defense painted her as a victim, manipulated by a controlling man she believed loved her. Her attorney argued that she was coerced into committing these terrible acts, but Cassie herself could not escape her guilt. She wept openly throughout the trial, admitting her actions, but placing much of the blame on Marlon. When the jury returned with their verdict, it was clear. Cassie was found guilty of second-degree murder, acknowledging her role in the crime, but recognizing that she had been manipulated. She was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 25 years. Her reaction was a mix of relief and despair. While she had avoided the harshest sentence, the reality of spending decades in prison was crushing. She whispered a small, broken apology as she was led from the courtroom, a plea for forgiveness that would never come. Marlon, on the other hand, maintained his innocence throughout the trial. He denied orchestrating the crime and blamed Cassie's accusations on desperation, but the jury saw through his lies. The prosecution painted him as the mastermind, a man who had married for financial gain and manipulated his stepdaughter into carrying out the crime. When the verdict was read, guilty of first-degree murder, Marlon showed no emotion. The judge condemned his actions, stating that his callous disregard for life and the manipulation of others was unforgivable. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Elaine's legacy, a triumph of justice. While public opinion on Cassie was divided, many recognized the manipulation she had endured, yet few could forgive her role in her mother's death. Marlon's life in prison was marked by bitterness and isolation as he faced the consequences of his greed. Cassie, consumed by guilt, spent her days writing letters to her mother, searching for forgiveness she would never receive. Elaine's story, though tragic, became a triumph of justice. Her final actions, changing her life insurance beneficiary, ensured that neither Marlon nor Cassie would profit from their betrayal. Instead, her loyal confidant Althea received the $1.7 million, honoring Elaine's trust and values. Elaine Monroe's death left behind a legacy of resilience, courage, and quiet justice. Her decision to ensure her story was told even in silence ensured that her truth would never be forgotten. Her story challenges us to reflect on betrayal, the pursuit of justice, and the impact of love and trust. Elaine's life may have ended in tragedy, but her legacy, defined by resilience and justice, will never be erased. Would you have made the same decisions in her shoes? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more stories of courage and justice.